Okay, in this video, let's take a very simple approach. We will have two classes. One class we will keep, just a second, let me set. Hmm. In this one, we will keep two classes, one for display and the other one to write all the logics, as we have seen earlier. Here in the display, I just assume the class name to be program and the method inside which we'll be doing everything is a main. In the main method, we will be making a object of logic class. We can give some other class name like process, algorithms, and whatever. And let's say the object name is O. And then we will say O dot, and this way we'll call the methods of these classes. So one method for add, one for subtract, like that. Just to let you understand, I'll write a simple code first that what approach I'm following, and then we will write questions for finding square root. Definitely, computer programming is not for mathematics, but to understand the structure, what the approach of our design, we'll be doing this way. Let me go quickly and open the Visual Studio. I believe it is known to you all, but still, while it is opening, as you can see, we are opening Visual Studio for the new project. And this way, let me create a console application. We'll be following a single solution for this all 10 small experiments quickly. I'll be making the program name C# basics project structure. You can always have a period. The dot is called period in between. And in the solution, I'm not keeping dot project structure directly, SLN. You are familiar with this, but I'm just assuming in case if you don't know, we can follow that way. And this I'll call it C# basic. Let it get loaded with the .NET version 6.20, and we should be soon ready with the project loading, and we'll be continuing in the same way. Okay, so now it has loaded. Let me make two classes. And if you remember from your earlier practice, I'm making the class program, and I'm keeping the main method inside. I'm assuming how to make the use of creating shortcut way of main and others. And definitely we need to make it public for now. For now, I'm not writing anything inside of this method, this class. So we have two blocks. As you can see, the block up, that's just what I wanted to say. We made it. And then, so this box represents up. And then I need the similar way class name CSS Math Logic. So you can understand you have to make a class called CSS Math Logic, and then you have to do the work. I can go just down below this closing of the curly brackets and say, you can always choose the name, but we'll follow the same. C sharp, instead of CSS, CHP I'm writing, Math Logic, logics. And in the class, I'm now going to write my logic for a couple of small piece of logical work, such as addition of two numbers, and it will take two inputs of the type integer, namely num1, num-a, num-b, and we'll just be returning sum of both. Plus b. And definitely for a method, you need to tell the return type. And if at all there is no return type, you can always say void, we are returning something. Addition of two numbers are number is a number. So I'll just write here int. We are almost ready, but there will be a lot of small modifications required so that you can use this. Right? So this is another class. We can go ahead and take this. All right, so as we were doing, this class, you can see very well, is very much similar to this. Likewise, if it is subtraction and all that, you can very well see how does it work. So let me write quickly for subtraction and all other codes. This is just a format we will be following. I should make all of them public. Just got hang. And you can say 4 methods. All of them pretty decent work. And it should give you an option of actually these 4 methods. Just give me a second. Now use your mind, apply your own logic that if at all I want to access the ad, we'll have to write it here. CS, C sharp, math logic, obj, any name you can take, equal to new CS logic, blah, blah, blah. And then you have to say obj dot add. You call this with the add and all that. So our main focus is not writing this code heavy. We know how to call it. We will be focusing on the logics into this class. But for now, I'll just show you how do we do that. So I'll write it here. CS logic obj equal to new logic, and then we'll go for add. We'll pass two numbers, and that will definitely, we can give it inside console write line. So it directly displays your data. You can also do var result equal to, and then you can simply put the result over here. So just to give you as a comment, creating the object, calling the add, displaying the result value, and storing the result, the addition in result, a local variable. I would suggest not to waste your time too much for now in this class called program. This line is required to be done only once. You don't need to do again and again. And these two lines you can repeat. How? Now you want to find the difference between two numbers. You don't need to create the object again. You straight away say obj dot sub and pass the numbers. And even the result word, you can reuse it. The first time this box called result was storing the value of addition of two numbers 3 and 4. This time it is going to do the difference between 5 and 2 in the natural way of subtraction, 5 minus 2, and storing into result. Well, the spelling does matter here, we know that. And then it should tell you what is happening by now. If it's still not helping you, you try to find out if this is the way to do for sub, how will you do for multiplication? You go ahead with the result again, equal to obj dot multiplication. You pass 5,6, any number you can pass, and then you can say, give me the result. If you see essentially the only one line is repeating every time, everything else remains the same. Likewise, if required, if I can, I'll go ahead with dot div. And then you pass 5, 2, which should definitely give 2 because it's an integers we are talking. If you remember those things from the concept of the C or any other language, when you divide, the number comes 2.5, where it is only going to give the integer piece of it. And that's how it is. And then we are going to give result. Some problem it is showing me here, saying expected It's going to take a minute's time to build and make it ready. Now you can see these are all four methods we are calling. I'll probably will explain you this on the diagram. Before that, I'm doing something which I'll be explaining in the next video clipping. But for now, let me do that. All right, cool. Let me keep this side by side. Now let us see what happens over here. All right, let me explain. If you see, this piece is responsible for only addition, and likewise this for subtraction, this for multiplication, this for division. And depending on my activity requirements, I can call any one of them, whoever is calling. So this piece of the code is how to call and what to call, but here are the logics. But since your mind would be thinking, if at all I have to call them, how to call? So this is the way I'm doing. Make a copy of this class, and then essentially that is called an object, which we will discuss over the class as a question answer and the difference between class and object. But for now, to understand, this is a copy of the class, an instance of a class, and that instance further, when you say obj dot, it gives you the access to all the public members of the class. Here I'm accessing add, subtract, multiplication, division. Probably I'll show it to you for once. So these are your public members inside the class. And here, the moment I say obj dot, all the public members you can see here. Addition, division, into alphabetical numericals. Ignore this. Multiplication and divisions, subtractions, all that is available. So I can again choose, if somebody wants, pass the numbers for which you need to do. And then how do you use this outcome? It is completely up to you. For now, we are doing this. And then is what we are doing. So this part should be in your mind that how it all will do. But now you think, if somebody wants to do square of a number, something like he want to have that object must have something called SQR of number. Imagine that I want to do a square of a number. Obviously, square of a number takes only one argument. Now, your thinking should be, if he wants to use it. So these are the two team members, the one who is using, one who is creating. Your task should be here to make a logic or something called square of a number. Naturally, if he's saying square of a number with same name, I'll create a method, public. It will, the square of a number is again an integer number, same name. How many inputs I need? One, num. I don't need to call A and B. And then you put the logic. So input is one number, and the output is the number into the number. So I'll say return number star number. That's it. All right. Right. And then again, this I can store it to result. And then I can say again, now if I at all allowed, forget how do I call it. You just leave that. My work should be to just focus on how those logics would be built, how those logics, anyway, you can see the outcome of each one of that addition of the number 3, 4, subtraction 5 minus 2, 5 into 6, 30, 5 divided by 2 is naturally 1 point something, I mean 2.5, but it becomes 2, and then 4 divided by 2 is again 2, and 5 square is 25. Anyway, so let's proceed. Now we will only focus on how do I can build the logic. The next question is towards finding the addition of first 5 prime numbers, summing from 1 till 5. Your work is not towards how to display. Leave that part. Ignore that part. How that happens, you leave that. Okay. Or you can keep it open and just focus on. So like that, I want in the next clippings to work on factorial, natural sum of first 5 numbers, and some more. Thank you very much.